My name is Devin Mance. I have been a member of the BMWE for about 13 years now. I work for BNSF Railroad, and I'm a foreman in Minot, North Dakota. Um, we are the BMWED Rank and File United is a caucus that we started here a couple of years ago. We did so because we want to work together with the rank and file workers that are on the ground on the ballast line. Earlier today, we were all, uh, working on the tracks, and we think that we need a voice. And so uh, we have a survey at the end. If you want to get more involved and you want to be a part of it, uh, you know, check mark that box. We'd really appreciate it. And so we're also working in conjunction right now with Teamsters for Democratic Union. They're a wonderful organization. They've helped us a lot with resources and advice, and they're helping us here every step of the way. I'm a proud TDU member, and you can be too. If you want to sign up as well, just look for Google Teamsters for Democratic Union and sign up. They do really great work with the Teamsters. Um, Following this, we're going to go through and talk with some speakers. We're going to tell you about what direct elections are, how you get them, and so on and so forth. But we're going to do a Q&A at the end. So make sure that you, in the bottom, there's a little box that says ask questions. Make sure that you ask some questions. We're going to do our best to answer them at the end. There's a lot of people, like I said, so we'll do our best. Running through the agenda real quick, we're going to talk about the structure of the BMWED. Some people may already know the structure, and that's great. But we're going to start from Union BMWED 101. We're going to run through how the elections they currently work. Then we want to look at like why direct elections will strengthen our union, or why they have strengthened other unions. And then we also want to learn how to organize to get direct elections, right? So let's dive right into this. If you need resources, we have a website set up. It's www.bmwedvote.org. You might want to take some notes while we're going through this whole thing. It'll help you later on. You can also ask later on. We would appreciate hearing from you. So what we're trying to do tonight is we're trying to take action, basically. How we want to do that, we want to involve the members, right? And how do we do that? Well, we want to stand up to the carriers. We want to win good contracts. And how do we do that? We do that through many different organizing activities. It's not just a one-stop shop. This isn't the only thing we're planning on doing. We're going to start by democratizing our union. Once we democratize our union and get direct elections passed in every federation, we're going to go to national convention and we're going to get it passed there as well. We're looking at the future. We're looking at that every member is engaged and involved. We just want to, we're asking for members like you to get involved and do a little bit of work in order to, maximize this at a larger level in the national division. Got a lot of speakers tonight. Let's get going on the structure of the BMWED and how it all works. Run through this really quick. The local lodges is where it all starts. Every member of the BMWED is a local lodge member. If you don't know your local number, try calling your vice chairman. If you can't get a hold of them, call your general chairman. If you can't get a hold of them or don't know who they are, reach out to us. We can help you out. But if you're a member of the BMWED, you have a lodge number and you have a right to vote in that lodge. It's made up of lodge officers, your local chairman, your local president, your local secretary treasurer. All these positions are important, and many more. Get in touch with them. It's really important. This is where it all starts, right? With the union at the local lodge level. Above that, who takes care of the local lodges is the system federations. Typically, they help out with claims and grievances, If you have a question, typically you would call one of them. Um, it's difficult. We all know that our agreements are hard, they're complicated. So these should be the experts. Above that, and who controls all the federations, in a sense, is national. They're above them. These officers are elected by delegates at the national convention that I was talking about earlier. They negotiate our national contracts like PB 250 that we just got done with about a year ago, and they set the strategic direction of our union going forward for bargaining and for whatever in the future. So how current elections actually work, they all differ a little bit. So it's hard to get into the nitty-gritty details of every single federation. We can help with that later on if you're curious in how to change that. But they do all differ. And some do actually have direct elections. So we want to point them out. They're wonderful. I think they're great. And we actually have some speakers from some of those federations here. Every convention comes up every 4 years at the system federation level and at the national division level. So how it currently works is we have a weighted voting system. So how that works is you send a delegate with from your local lodge number. You send one delegate. That delegate goes to the convention, and they have a weighted vote system, which means they take all the members from their lodge. So whether you have 20 members or you have 250, that's how many members you get to vote with for federation and national officers. So, okay, so let me just go over this for example really quick. If you have 2,500 members in your lodge, or in your system, sorry, just 32 would go to as delegates to the Federation Convention. Now, this is an actual federation that we have in the BMWED. There are many federations with thousands of members in them, and a very small fraction, just 1%, go to the convention and vote for the officers that will be representing everybody else. And oftentimes our lodges are even kept so broke that they don't even have a delegate that they send. So a lot of times what they'll do is they'll send it with another delegate from another lodge, or they send it with their officer, their vice chairman, their general chairman. Some federations are worse about that than others. So delegates can vote for multiple lodges. You can have up to, I believe it's 500 people that you're voting for. And we don't think that's right. One person should not vote for 500 people. The last thing I want to say about this is many officers, they just aren't directly accountable for the rank and file. They handle their claims, their grievances, they bargain for them, but they're only really accountable for a couple of delegates that they have at their convention because they're trying to impress them to get voted in the next 4 years. So we believe there's a better way. We believe direct elections is the way to go. There is a different system other than this weighted ballot, and we're going to tell you about that right now here. So just a rough preview of what it is. Let's just hear about why direct elections are a little bit better with Brother Michael Babb.
You're muted, Bab.
No, hi, I'm sorry. This is Michael Babb. I am a member. I've been a member of the BMWED for about 13 years. I currently work for Norfolk Southern, has been on traveling gangs, and I'm currently electric welder in Sheffield, Alabama. I'm going to go over some of this about direct elections and my opinion about it. Direct elections, to me, every member would get a vote, meaning every due-paying member would be able to voice their opinion of what officers they want. Me personally, with the federation I belong to, is the ARSF. I I don't see this as officer attack and attack on officers. My federation, I support my officers, but in the future, them officers are going to be retired. And I think it's a way that we know to ensure that we're going to have good officers come up behind them. The candidates would have opportunities to express themselves and their views directly to the membership, not just to a few delegates. Direct elections it's a very commonplace in a lot of different unions. And a matter of fact, Teamsters votes for theirs, all of theirs, for locals and national, all except for us. I know one of the big things is the cost of direct elections, and it's a very slim cost. It's a couple cents, if not single-digit cents per member to have direct elections. Why direct elections will build a stronger union. The members will be encouraged to participate in the union rather than have others make decisions for them. They'll feel that if they can cast a vote, they feel empowered that they have a voice in the direction of their union and who's going to be accountable for the directions of their leadership. And also, when officers go to the bargaining contracts, they will do so by backing the members who elected them, not just the small amount of delegates elected. And I believe that's how we'll build a stronger union with direct elections.
Thank you, Brother Bab. Appreciate that. So now we have a different portion of the webinar. We have some speakers that are in support of direct elections. Really appreciate them coming on. The first one we have is Dustin Roach. He's president of Teamsters Local 135. We're happy to have you. Go ahead and unmute when you can. Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. Dustin Roach, Teamster. Started 5/31/2005 as a driver out of Pepsi in Indianapolis, Indiana. I am now the president of Teamsters Local 135, who represents workers throughout Indiana, 7 counties in Illinois, and Republic Airways flight attendants all around the country. Just want to address 2 things. One, Devin said, we think we need a voice when he started this meeting. Hurts my heart. We are union. That is the whole point of being union, is having a voice. Not having elections stymies that voice. And to hear a brother say that we need a voice in our union, again, that's the whole point of being union. Michael Babb just talked about the cost of elections. And I'm going to tell you right now, the cost of elections, whatever the cost of election is, the cost of not having an election is even greater. Local 135, prior to myself and my team taking office, we didn't have elections for years. We had elections in the Teamsters, but the old administration really stymied every possible chance that anybody could to run, right? So they would retaliate against people, try to talk people off the ledge, as they said. They really didn't have any big challengers. Our union was very disenfranchised, like BMWED. Local 135 used to be, I think, the 2nd or 3rd largest local in the country at over 19,000 members. We shrank. Our old officers simply managed the decline, and that's all they did, and they didn't even do it well. When we took office in January of 2023, our membership levels were down at 12,000, like BMWED, where you have shrink and shrink and shrink. Through our election process, we were able to get our members involved. We were able to get our members engaged. Our members knew that, hey, something's not right. We want to have a voice. And being a part of the election process gave our members a voice and holding our elected leaders accountable. Look, the reality is I'm an elected officer now. Nobody should fear accountability. I really think the only people that fear accountability are the people who are doing it for the wrong reasons. They're holding on to paychecks, they're holding on to authority, and that's not what we're supposed to be doing. If you do the right things by your membership, they're going to support you always. That's my position on it anyways. Sure, you'll have naysayers, but they'll support you on it all the time. Now today is a great, for instance, 2 years ago, we would not have had practice pickets or people getting involved. I'm actually in the middle of bargaining a contract right now with Coke. While we were sitting at the table today, we had over 200 people from our membership and various shops all throughout stand outside of Coke, practice picketing, and getting involved. And they're going to win a kick-ass contract because of it, because the new leadership of the local is allowing members to get involved and engaged. That's really, truly the only way that you can win strong contracts. But all that came through new leadership. If we would have continued to have the leadership that we had in the past, again, they would have simply managed the decline and just got contracts done, not got contracts done that change people's lives. And that's what we're supposed to be doing as union leaders and union members all day, every day. None of what we're doing today. We've won industry setting contracts at a company recently with 22 to 23% pay increase in year one. We had members involved during negotiations. We actually had all of the members. It's open bargaining. We're doing opening bargaining where all members can come out in negotiations, including the bargaining committee. Transparency like no other, because that really pisses a bunch of people off when they see how their employer are handling them at the table. But if we would have had elections, open bargaining would have never happened, right? So when I was on the bargaining committee at my shop, our old leadership, our old administration literally said, Dustin, zip it, you can't say it. They made us sign non-disclosure agreements, this, that, and the other. So we couldn't even talk to our coworkers about what was going on in bargaining. It is critical that we have our membership directly voting for their leadership. Without that, there is no accountability. And I think Michael said he gets along great with our supports, his elected leaders in his lodge. You know what? What happens if they pass away tomorrow? Somebody gets put in that position. I thank you guys for the time. I encourage you to keep moving forward with this one member, one vote. There is absolutely no way that it is harmful to the membership to have you actually vote on your leadership. You vote on your leadership for the President of the United States, for Congress, for Senate. There's no reason why you shouldn't be able to have, as Devin said earlier, a voice in your union. Thank you, guys.
That's right. Thank you, Brother Roach. Appreciate your leadership and what you're doing at 135 right now. It's really cool to see. Up next here, we got Lydell Owens. He's the vice chair at the United Passenger Rail Federation, and really happy to have you, brother. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you for the invite. I'm kind of benefited from a federation that has direct elections. I came into the Pennsylvania Federation, which is now the United Passenger Rail Federation, where we already had direct elections for all of our federation officers, and it's something that we believe strongly in. In fact, at the last national convention, we brought forth a bylaw change for direct elections for our national officers. That was unsuccessful, but that's our standpoint. And I can tell everyone on this call that I am an example of how direct elections can bring forth change and can work in a federation. In 2019, I ran for a vice chairman position, and I was directly elected by my peers, not just a peer, but a peer. And I had no idea how many other federations do the weighted system with a delegate. When I talk to other brothers who are in federations with a delegate voting system, a weighted voting system, a lot of them say they deserve to carry the vote because they were elected as a delegate at their local lodge, and therefore they represent the local lodge. And I think that's true to an extent. I think you represent the local lodge, but I don't think you represent every voice in the local lodge. And that right there leads to the accountability aspect. If I'm not accountable, my peers will definitely let me know. You know, I will not be in this position or have this role that I have now. Like I said, I'm very fortunate, and the brothers and sisters for the United Passenger Rail Federation, they do have direct elections. I do find it kind of odd that when you are voting for a tentative agreement, things that really matter most to everyone, such as GWIs, paid time off, away from home expenses and things like that, you get a vote. But when it comes to who's negotiating that for you, you don't get a vote. So it's kind of like it really doesn't make sense to me. Like I said, that's kind of where I come from. So that's something that I believe in. I think that there's no better way to encourage involvement across the membership. There's no better way to encourage that involvement than giving someone the right that they have to vote. Just to give you an example, I know a lot of people I saw in the chat, they're talking about the turnout and things like that. I think you get a better turnout when people know that their voice means something. I think that when you're just sending a delegate, I think people kind of give up. But I think if people know they can vote, and now recently, even on our federation, we've gone through the AAA, obviously, for our voting, and they have 3 different options. You can vote online on the internet with a special code that they give you. You can vote from your smartphone, and you can also do the traditional mail-in vote. So it's very convenient. And it kind of takes the option and the hassle away from having to check your mailbox and things like that and having to, go to the post office or do whatever. So I think because where we're going at with technology, and I think it just makes the most sense. Like I said, I'm privileged to come from a system where it's successful at, where guys are encouraged and empowered to be involved and to stay involved. So I thank you guys for allowing me this time to share, and I look forward to see what's going to come at the next convention.
Thank you, Brother Owens. We really appreciate that. It's good to hear from a system federation that's already got it passed. Like I said before, there's a couple that have already gotten it, and that is one of them. They've had it for a long time. So it's good to see. Lastly, but certainly not least, we have a brother, Eric Truss. He's a member of UAW Local 600. He's a Ford auto worker, and we're happy to have him. Thank you, Eric, for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, brothers and sisters. Appreciate this time to be to share some things about direct elections. My name is Eric Truss with the steering committee, and I'm a steering committee member and financial secretary for UAWD, which means Unite All Workers for Democracy. I am I've been a member of Ford Motor Company at Dearborn, Michigan, Local 600 for 28 years, and I would like to share with you life before one member, one vote, which was not easy. While members voted for concessions due to bad contracts, negotiations, and threats from our leadership, that was our only option. Members felt like they had no strong fight against management in the plant, and basically a large ratification bonus was our only relief. Our pay, our benefits suffered, and we've seen our real wages decline since 2008. The fight for one member, one vote was hard to overcome. The administrative caucus, which was the previous caucus that was in there, held back information by reducing the amount of participation in the election reform process. They basically did an information block so that people wouldn't even know that it was even going on. The administration caucus controlled the majority of the delegates in the convention election process and always chose who they wanted to be the next president of UAW. After UAWD campaigned and won the one member, one vote, we launched a 7-member slate to challenge the current caucus and the UAW executive board. Every member of UAW, including retirees, was able to vote for the first time. The election was won for each candidate a seat on the executive board, including Sean Fain, who you all know. The election changed the UAW towards reform and aggressive contract negotiations, and almost all concessions were returned. Wages were raised for some people from $19 to $35, and top pay will increase to $40 in the next 4.5 years. Improvements with management is growing, knowing that membership has an aggressive UAW leader. So this is in our plants and our units. Management is kind of unease about what they can do because they know now that grievances can go all the way up to this the leadership that we have now. So they know that the fight will be more stronger for the membership. The UAW leadership is more open with his membership and has regular Facebook meetings when necessary. And you've probably seen some of these during social media and probably in national media through news like CNN and other networks. The membership has once again become the governing body of the leadership and has returned the voice of the U and has returned. Let me say this again. The membership has once again become the governing body, and the leadership has returned to be the voice of the UAW. The ballot box has become the leadership's responsibility to its membership, and the membership's responsibility to elect the voice of the rank and file. And with that said, I just want to I wish I had more time to share with you. It's stories about our fight, and I want to thank you for this time to speak with you. And I just want to say solidarity to everyone forever. Thank you.
Thank you, brother Eric. Now the UAW's got a great story. All right, I'm going to talk about how to win direct elections. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Matt Mortensen. Everyone calls me Morty. BMWED member for over 18 years now for BNSF Railroad here in Kansas City, Missouri. Please don't get Missouri confused with Kansas. Yeah, and I was a welder the majority of the time, a thermite and frog welder for about 13 years, and then I ran some machines, and now I'm B&B. So when you guys walk into the buildings at your depots and they look beautiful, that's because of my work. So how to win direct elections? I mean, the only way we can win direct elections is through the delegates. So it's really important to communicate with the delegates, let them know, about direct elections, and to get a delegate that's in there that is knowledgeable, that wants to be engaged, that wants to make a difference. You got a lot of delegates that go to these, not all of them, but you got a few delegates that go to these conventions and it's just a vacation for them. This is not a vacation. This is our livelihoods. So if you get a delegate, which is out there, that doesn't support what their local wants them to support, that is not okay. If there is a delegate out there like that, they need to get a new delegate. I've heard many stories of guys go in and didn't vote the way their local told them to, and their local got upset, and it wasn't good. But that's what they're there for. They're there to represent the local. And it's very important for them to mingle around and go, and they give you a binder when you get there to read that binder, because that's all the bylaw changes that are proposed. It's pretty important. So get a delegate that supports direct elections, and if they don't support it, start hounding them. So with that, I mean, we got some of the conventions are coming up. We got a timeline of the conventions. Some of them are coming up real quick. You got the Bernor, you got the Burlington system, you got the Allied, all this year. Reach out to those guys. I know I'm from the ATSFF federations. Mine will be next year. I know a lot of people are upset because they're saying that we're getting involved in other systems, business and stuff. But what happens in all these systems affect me in the long run. And then what happens in national affects all of us as well. We're not trying to upset anybody or anything like that, but direct elections is really important to me. I believe like everyone should have a voice. I think it's crazy we don't, especially with this day and age with technology. And then we got the national convention. It was 2026. So that's going to be definitely a big one. So, we're kind of ramping up to that. Oh yeah, going back, anybody that wants to be a delegate that doesn't know or understand how to be a delegate, you got to be voted at your local, which at our local, we do have direct elections, which is kind of weird. But if you need help running as a delegate position or anything like that, please reach out to us. We are more than willing to help anybody out. With all this, I mean, we could all of us together, we could win together. I mean, that's proven time and time again. Like Dustin Roach, man, he's sitting there. That guy literally is negotiating with Coke and stepped out to get on this presentation. Had 200 guys going out there. I'm positive Coke is shaking in their boots right now. Because when we stand together and we fight together, we will win. So there's some things that, you guys that want to get involved that can do. Invite members to sign the one member, one vote petition. And we'll be talking about that a little bit later. Run for delegate of your lodge. And involve rank and file and grassroots campaign. Pass a resolution, and we'll be talking about that later as well. And personally endorse the campaign, and there'll be more about that as well. There's a lot to do. That if you guys want to do any of these, please reach out. If one of these things it doesn't interest you, but you want to get involved some other way, we could definitely do that as well. Get a printable petition. So they're on the BMWEDvote.org/resources. You could get it and print it out, take it to your depot, get guys to sign it, and you could take a picture of it and text it in, or you can email it in there on that website. There is a phone number to text and a email address to email it to. So get out there, get it printed, and get them signed. All right. You can also become an endorser. So I mean, the big thing. Oh, hold on, it went back on me. All right, guys, that's all I got. Thank you.
Well, it looks like it's all me now. Guys, just introduction quickly. My name's Corey Aaron. I'm a track foreman in St. Louis. I'm an ATSF member, and for 17 years, and I worked for BNSF. Tonight, I'm just going to talk to you about what I did at my lodge as far as passing a resolution. I know you've heard that a couple times already. I'm going to guide you through understanding what a resolution is and how we can collectively work towards getting it passed at your local lodge. As mentioned, this was successfully passed at my lodge, and I believe we can replicate this success all across the BMWED. But first, let's kind of define what a resolution is, because a lot of us aren't familiar with that and even passing them at our lodges. So I'm going to give you an official definition, and it's the expression of opinion or the will of the legislative body. It's our way of formally stating a decision or a proposal for action. And I want you to remember that, a proposal for action. This just that's a very simple way of explaining it. But if you're going to, pass one of these resolutions at your local lodge, obviously you don't want to just walk in there and slam it down on the table and say, hey, this is what I want. This is what we, you know what I mean? You got to have a plan of action. So to achieve our goal, a structure plan is essential, and this is how we can approach it. One, in my notes here, I've got initiate conversations and gather support. This is pretty important. The foundation of any successful resolution rides in strong support. Engage in discussions highlighting the significance of each member having a vote. It's crucial for all members to understand the current voting system versus one member, one vote. So when I did this, I really focused on having those one-on-one conversations. As Dustin Roach said, I talked about, whenever a member can get their vote, it gets more engagement from the member. I talked about, the current system where one guy is voting for 50 guys, 100 guys, or 200 guys in some lodges. I don't think that's fair representation. Creating a more, democratic union, holding officers more accountable. These are some of the things that I talked about with guys in one-on-one conversation, and gathering that support. And some of these things that I'm talking, you could add a lot more to that, but these are some of the things that really struck a chord with some of these guys. Especially when I talked about one guy voting for 50 or 100 or 200 guys, right? Like that just kind of blew their, what? They obviously understand that, to Dustin's point, that you can vote for your president, you can vote for your senator. It makes sense that we should all have our own vote and our own voice. Secondly, I've got on here, distribute a draft copy. Share a draft copy of resolution with members. either in person or via text. This allows everyone to ample time to review and understand and think over the proposal before the meeting. So when, obviously 1 and 2 go together, when I would go to this member, have these conversations, hey, do you want to text? Hey, I'll text you the resolution, look it over. What I really found was some guys needed time to process that information. I would have a paper copy if they wanted that. Some guys like that paper. So I, would hand them that if that's what they wanted. But some guys needed time to process that information. And it gave them time to kind of refer back and look at the resolution. And then we could come back to that conversation if they had questions. 3, I had, obviously promote your meeting attendance. If you're going to get this passed, you need to know where your meeting is and when it's happening. And encourage members to be there, right? I mean, we are all busy in life, and sometimes guys need a friendly reminder. I mean, if you're like me, you're busy, kids, wife, you got a lot of stuff going on. So you want to remind guys, hey, I need you here at this meeting. If we're going to get this passed, you're asking for that support. 4, I've got encourage the guys to be vocal. While many may agree in principle, the real impact is made when members actively speak up and support during the meeting. It's vital for members be prepared and committed to advocating for the resolution openly. I've seen this multiple times where guys agree, but they don't say anything. They just, nod their head. You want guys to engage and openly support this resolution and why it's important. And then 5, this is, something I wish I would have done better is collaborate, don't isolate. Reflecting on my own experience, one of the lessons I learned is important is not trying to do everything alone. Collaboration and effective effort are key. I'm a person that doesn't ask for help like I should. And so, as an individual, I'm having 8 or 10 conversations. If you can get a group that are advocating for this resolution together, 2 guys, 3 guys, think how many more conversations you're having to turn out support for this resolution. And here's some final thoughts. I've said a lot. Remember, a resolution is a proposal for action, right? A good way to explain it to guys. 2, have a plan. And then 3, you can get I know all of us aren't resolution masters at writing, so we've made it easy so you can get a copy of the resolution at www.bmwedvote.org. In closing, I want to say this. Well, I want to emphasize, while individually our influence may seem limited, together as a collective, our potential is vast. And what I'm saying is, when we work together, we can get this done. I encourage all of you to review the resolution, but also take an active part in its passage within your own lodge. Share your progress and your experience with us, as your success is our collective success. I mean, that's what we're looking for. If you can have this pass in your lodge, make sure you're sharing that with guys, because you're showing the other guys, hey, this is doable. We can get this done. And together we can make significant impact. So I want to thank you all for your time, your support, your commitment to getting one member, one vote passed in the BMWED. And with that, I'll turn it over to Michael Bow.
I think I have.
Hold on, Bab. I'm going to cut you off there for a second. Sorry, we kind of skipped this one. Kind of threw me for a loop there for a little bit, but thank you, Corey. That was amazing. Become a member of support. I mean, we're asking people to take their pictures. This is the beautiful Michael Babb. Got his picture taken there at work, out on the tracks, just in the background, on his lunch break. But saying he supports one member, one vote. Just send them in to that same website. You take a picture yourself. It could be as simple as saying that you support, or if you got something, a reason why you support direct elections, you could write that in too. We greatly appreciate that. that, I will pass on to Michael Babb.
That was about the endorsements and the importance of the endorsements. It's increases the interactions between you and your members. To see guys on the tracks and you see pictures of them and the reasons why they support the importance of the endorsements. So like Matt said, just send them in with your statements and pictures and what it means to you about one member and one vote.
All right, so now we're back to get involved. There's plenty of places you can get involved at. Like get the petition signed. I mean, one of my favorite things to do, one of my things to do, one of the best things that I've ever done was join TDU. I hear a lot of guys on the railroad, especially, say that they don't feel like Teamsters, and I completely understand that. And I have never felt like a Teamster till I joined TDU. I've got to meet a lot of amazing people that do care about us railroaders. I kind of felt like we were left in the dark for many years, but there is people out there that care. It's the best thing I've ever done to join TDU. They got amazing convention they have every year there in Chicago. It's a great place to introduce yourself and meet new people, pass ideas. They on a lot of things when I was kind of weary about joining TDU is like, I'm always told we're, RLA, we're the Railroad Labor Act, everything they do it doesn't pertain to us. And I've got on a lot of their educationals. They put on educational. You don't even have to be a member to get on these educationals. But they have grievances. I didn't think that would apply to us at all, but it was really good on how to, fill out a time, we call them time claims on the railroad, like all the details you need to win a good grievance. It was actually pretty good. A lot of it could pertain to us on the railroad. The other thing is, what I love about TDU is like you could call anybody from TDU, and not once will they ask you if you are a TDU member. They will help go above and beyond and help anybody, whether you're a member or not. And that just tells me right there, these people care. They want to make a difference. So I definitely highly suggest everyone get out and join TDU, and then make it out to the Chicago convention that's at towards the end of this year. It'd be great to finally shake people's hands and actually meet them instead of just talk to them on the telephone.